Desperate parents or state authorities often turn to residential psychological treatment for troubled teenagers. But when the staff resorts to restraints and isolation rooms to control the children, it's very controversial because children are so vulnerable.
The I-Team's 3-month investigation of a facility in Virginia found troubled teens were kept in isolation for days. So is it treatment or torment? The I-Team's Roberta Baskin is here now with her exclusive report. Roberta?
Allison and Leon, how do you handle troubled teens? Psychiatric Solutions, Inc. is the leading provider of inpatient behavioral health care. They own Poplar Springs in Virginia and other treatment centers in 31 states. Most of its billion-dollar annual revenue comes from you, your tax dollars. What kind of care does it buy? Well, these are the stories of 3 Virginia families. Poplar Springs looks like the ideal setting for troubled teens. Last month, Virginia's First Lady and other dignitaries dedicated a beautiful new wing. What they did not see is what happens when the cameras go away.
They held me down. They took all my clothes away, and I was just being drugged up.
Zanetta was a happy child growing up, but she began to act out when she turned 12 and she ran away from home. The state of Virginia became her temporary guardian and eventually sent her to Poplar Springs for evaluation and treatment. But months later, when Zanetta's mom tried to get her released, the hospital refused.
They sat around and punished her and warehoused her and let a check be written to them every month.
Andy Jackson believes Poplar Springs had an incentive to keep her daughter, $14,000 a month in tax dollars for Zanetta's care.
Because I was asking too many questions, they cut off our visitation, they cut off our family therapy sessions.
Although the facility owner tells us that Poplar Springs works in close cooperation to reunite children and their families, when Andy went to court to try and get Zanetta back, Poplar Springs refused to let her daughter go.
I'm thinking in my head, you guys don't want me to go to court because you don't want the judge to know what you guys are doing.
That's when Zanetta got upset and the staff moved to restrain her.
I go off, I'm crying, I'm kicking, I'm trying to get them off me.
She says attendants forced her into the place she dreaded the most, the seclusion room with its double bolts.
They took all my clothes away from me, and there were like 2, 3 men still physically restraining me at the time, and I had no underwear on or nothing.
She's standing nude in a seclusion room.
Poplar Springs says incidents like this never happen. Its handbook says seclusion is voluntary and not to be used as punishment. Zanetta says while she was held in isolation, they injected her with sedatives repeatedly.
It's not a therapeutic setting in any way, shape, or form.
Gerard Huffman's 15-year-old daughter Emily also is at Poplar Springs. She called her dad's cell and said she witnessed Zanetta being stripped.
And that she was naked, and there were 2 male attendants in there as well. She said that while all the commotion was going on, all of the girls went to the nurse's station, leaned over the desk, and watched it all happen on the closed-circuit camera.
It's frightening, intimidating, very scary. It would be traumatizing even if you didn't have a mental health issue.
Dr. Lark Wong, a federal mental health expert, says such use of restraints in isolation rooms is outmoded and re-traumatizing.
It's a treatment failure.
The corporate owner, Psychiatric Solutions, Inc., has had problems in its facilities across the country. In Charlottesville, a manager pleaded guilty in a sex scandal involving teen patients. In Austin, a SWAT team was called when children got out of control. Serious understaffing was blamed. And in Sacramento, a patient was killed being pinned to the floor by a staff member.
It's barbaric, is what it is.
Although the company denies it, the parents of Autumn Mazingo say their daughter was left in isolation for days.
Unfortunately for her, she upset somebody on a Friday, and it was a 4-day weekend, so they were short crew.
We showed Autumn's parents what the isolation room looked like.
That's crazy. What do they think they're holding out? Maximum security prisoners?
Within days after the I-Team called Poplar Springs about Zanetta, they decided to release her. 8 months and a day after she went in. This week she returned to school and is also in therapy. Now Autumn's parents hope our report will bring their daughter home as well.
These kids need help, and that's not the place to get it.
We're going to get through it. We're going to get her home.
The corporate owner of Poplar Springs declined to be interviewed, but sent us a statement saying that the use of restraint and seclusion is regulated by the state and not used for punishment. They said that anytime restrictive procedures are used, that adequate safety precautions are taken and that patient dignity is preserved. And tomorrow, the Virginia Office of Human Rights is going to be going to Poplar Springs to investigate one of the family's complaints.
Boy, amazing stuff. And we've got more on the website as well. As a matter of fact, I understand we've got the full corporate statement and also lots of online resources and links as well, right?
Great stuff, yes.
All right, folks, find all that at WJLA.com. Click on News and then IT. Nice work, Roberta.
Roberta, thank you very much.